Back to another episode of Sincerely Unmatched. Basically, this is going to be episode 14, if I'm not mistaken. And we're actually here with one of the managers at the place where Pedro works. And I don't know if you want to say or introduce a little bit more about him, Pedro, or say something before he introduces himself.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, we worked alongside for a while. I learned a lot from you, and I wanted to say that yesterday I was having a conversation with Mike, and I told him, "Hey, this was gonna be our next guest for the podcast," and he's like, "Who?" And I was like, "Augie," and he's like, "This is gonna be a good one." And then you're very young, you're very driven, you're very smart, you have a lot of wisdom, and yeah, I just wanted to say it's a pleasure always working with you. Whenever I'm given the chance, it's always a pleasure working with you. So
Man, um, Pedro, every time I see you, tell me that, man, I really appreciate it. It does mean a lot. But again, man, my name is Augustine Lara. Everybody knows me as Augie. Yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to do this. I've never done anything like this. English is not my first language, so if I say anything out of pocket, let me know. But again, thank you for the opportunity. Pedro told me about. I'm gonna say Plap. Plap told me about your guys' project, this project that you guys are working on and have been doing for a few weeks. I actually had the chance to listen to a couple episodes, and it's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. Keep it up. Continue doing what you guys are doing, and thank you for the chance. I appreciate it.
always.
Yeah. So anything you're trying to say, bro? Like introduce yourself. What do you do? Like how'd you get started into the position that you're currently in? Like just tell us more about yourself, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Well, here we go. Right, and here goes nothing. I want to take a different. I was thinking about this when Platt told me about this. I wanted to take a different approach towards it. And if you guys don't mind me asking, I'm gonna start by asking you both a question, and then we'll go from there.
All right, sounds good.
Alejandro, do you have a dream?
Yeah, bro. I think all of us do. Yeah, I mean, in the
What
most simplest of terms, yeah, we do.
do you mind sharing that?
Yeah, well, my dream, bro, is eventually to have my own place, basically where I could train my athletes and eventually make world champions. It's pretty straightforward, man.
I'm assuming boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's what's up. That's badass, man. Platt, do you have a dream, Platt?
I have many dreams and visions. Well, yeah, I do. I just feel like time management again. Time management, being well put in your routine. Because I work on music, and then I'm writing this book, and then all with the gym, and then with my nieces and all of this stuff. I feel like to answer your questions, I do. I have dreams. Yes, I do.
All right, and of course, I don't want to put your business on blast, but correct me if I'm wrong. Right, from knowing you, from years of knowing you and years of interacting with you, one of those dreams is to become a musician, right?
Correct.
All right. So the reason why I wanted to start off with this is because I know Alejandro is like I said, it's a pleasure to get to know you, right? But
Likewise.
what are you guys what are you guys doing, or if you are doing anything to achieve that dream, right? Again, I don't want to put you guys on blast or anything like that, but hold on to that thought. And here's where I start my story, my spill, right? I want this to be more of an awareness to everybody that's listening out there, especially for the young generation. Um, anyone that's listening, I hope my experience or my experiences that I will say on here, help them out in the future or help them out understand situations that they're going through or they will go through, right? So as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to be in a band. That's my dream. Like I wanted to live in a tour bus, wake up in a different city every day. I don't want to be famous. I just want to get up and play in front of thousands of people in a band, right? And I did have the opportunity to be in a couple of bands throughout my life. I quit music, I want to say around 2018, and it was a hard decision to make, because at that time that's where I had the opportunity to be where I'm at, working right now. I had the chance to start a career, and a career that has been very rewarding and has allowed me to do things in my life that I thought I never would have done, right? Well, where am I going with this? I'm trying to make people out there aware to get in the field, to get it in the area of their passions, right? We're asking 18-year-olds, 17, 18-year-olds graduating high school, what do you want to do for the rest for your life, right? So most of them, I hope they want to go to college. Disclaimer: you don't need a college degree to be successful. But where society is asking 17, 18-year-olds to decide what they want to do for the rest of their life after they graduate high school, right? A lot of individuals end up moving out of their house, end up still living at home, and that's totally fine, right? That's cool. But what I would want people to be aware is to get into the field of where it would put them closer to their dreams, right? So, for example, I'm gonna give you an example, right? My first job was at a dealership. I was a they call them porters, right? Moving cars around, washing them, putting them in the cars on the showroom floor. When I could have, gone into the show industry, maybe like look for a job like at an event venue, or with the radio or anything like that would get me closer to that industry, right? And I believe that once you get your foot into the door, and you have that unmatched work ethic that this podcast is about, there's nothing that will stop you. There's nothing that will get in your way of reaching your potential, because I've experienced it. Whenever you do something that you love, it doesn't even feel like work, and that is true. And I know you guys have heard that from several individuals that do what they love to do. And I don't know if you guys want to weigh in this, but Black, whenever you're doing this, does it feel like work? Whenever you're writing music, does it feel like work? Whenever you're freestyling, does it feel like work? Alejandro, when you're training, does it feel like work?
Does it?
And that's what I want to get at, right? And now, add that with the unmatched work ethic and the hunger that you have for that, and the sky's the limit. But you have a lot of individuals, I don't want to say necessarily wasting their talent, because they're whatever it's put in front of them, they're going to be successful, right? Whenever you have that drive, whenever you have that hunger, whatever comes your way, you're going to be successful, right? But I don't want to say they're wasting their talent, but they're taking the wrong routes. I know a lot of people with college degrees that graduated in something and are doing something totally different, right? And it just happens that at that point in their lives, that's how they got there, and it was too late to make that pivot to do what they wanted to do, right? It could be family, it could be, again, a stage in your life, or any other circumstance that didn't allow you to go that way, and now it's too late. Imagine if we did that from the earliest time possible, right? I would feel like the success rate in general, just for the upcoming generation, would spike. Um, the older generation, it's all about hard work and do whatever, right?
Yeah.
They really didn't believe on being a musician or being a YouTuber or whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that someone telling you to work hard is wrong. I'm not saying that at all. But what happens most of the time is that we end up doing something that we don't like, or that we're not meant to do. So now I want to talk a little bit about myself. I was thinking about this, and I'm going to disclose this in this podcast. I'm I'm aware that a lot of people are going to listen to this, and I'm proud of where I come from. I'm proud of who I am. But I was born in Mexico,
Yeah.
and I was raised here. Flap, I don't know if you know, but I'm a DACA recipient.
No.
Yep. Yes, sir. I came over here to the U.S. when I was 8 years old. Didn't speak a word of English. I've lived, of course, now most of my life here in the U.S. I grew up in a town, in a country town. That's why you may hear my a little bit of my country accent.
Yeah.
Graduated high school. I was fortunate and blessed to go to college. Once I graduated college, I got the opportunity to seek out opportunities, and Dollar General was the company that gave me the opportunity. And from there, I've been there. I've been there 4 years. I've been there 4 years. Started as an intern. I was an intern for 8 months. Graduated college, got the opportunity to stay on with the team as supervisor. Supervisor one. They sent me to work weekends. Got promoted. They sent me to nights as inventory control supervisor two. And this past August, I got promoted to inventory control manager, and I am now back home first shift. So that's a little bit of my story. My upcoming hasn't been easy. It hasn't been pretty. But again, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I classify myself as an individual that's advertised just like this podcast, right? Unmatched work ethic. By the way, that's a pretty sick logo. Whoever came up with that's a pretty nice logo.
Thank you.
Well, I just wanted to say it's thank you for being always honest. Always honest with every question, with every response, answer. I didn't really know that about you, even though we did talk about you being a musician and you played the guitar, if I'm correct, right? Or the piano, the guitar. And to me, that's really cool. I didn't really know, because sometimes I be in my own head, like not that I don't think that nobody's a musician or none of that, but it's just like, it's sometimes I'm just not really aware like that. But it's really cool to actually, like, when you told me that, I was like, that's crazy. One of the managers is a musician. That, to me, it just blew my mind. You know what I mean? With that being said, I love working where I'm at right now because we have a great team and we always propel each other to the next level. I know I always tell you that you're great. I always tell you that I like working with you and all of that. What is one of the things that keeps you driven to keep doing what you're doing and to You know, what is
Yes,
that?
sir. Yes, sir. Again, man, it's always a pleasure talking to you and getting to exchange ideas with you. And even just a conversation can go a long ways because it ends up in something in a deep message, right? But to answer your question, I love my job. I love my job. I don't want people to get it twisted. Me saying that I wanted to be a musician, that's my dream. But just imagine if everybody was living their dreams, right? And that would be awesome. But what I want people to be aware is, like you said, you didn't even know, right?
Yeah.
You may go back and start different conversations, not only where you work at, but with people around you, your friends, and really ask them like, what is it that fulfills you, in life? And that's when people start talking about that, even their face will light up because that's what they love, that's what they want to do. But I love my job. I love my job. It challenges me every day. Um, it's a very rewarding career, but it's very challenging. Right? We're working nights, we're working weekends, we're working holidays, we're working birthdays. But it's very rewarding. And the other part of your question was what drives me. There's a lot of factors, honestly, and it's mostly for myself and my family. I'm not married. I don't have any kids, but it's mostly for my family, right? I'm a strong believer, and I've etched that in my head that nobody owes you anything. Nobody, you're not entitled to anything. If you want something, it's out there, and you gotta figure out how to go get it. And that's how I wake up every morning, man. You know, uh, nobody owes me anything. Whatever it is that's gonna come across my desk, and the opportunities that are gonna come across my way, I believe that I'm gonna be creating those for myself. But it's just that fulfillment for me and to make my family proud.
Yeah,
You know,
honestly, bro, it was really cool listening to all of that as well. And I think that you said something really important, something that I resonate with, which is the fact that I also am not really a big believer in like most people that feel entitled that, oh, this is for me, this is, this belongs to me. I feel like everything that we do in life, we have to earn it. You get me? I think that, and like people don't understand, you get me? Because a lot of people will say things about their life like, oh yeah, like I deserve something good, but yet when something happens to them, like they don't also think about like, oh, like maybe I deserve that. You get me? So like a lot of people are really, they feel deserving of like the good things, but when the bad things come along, it's like sometimes like with what we do through actions or what we've said, or you get me, like maybe like a seed that we planted years ago. I mean, we also, if you're gonna think that mentality, this is the way that I look at it. If you're gonna think in that mentality of like I deserve the good things, then you must also be accepting of the bad things. But most people don't look at it like that. So I'm pretty like spot on with like one of the things that you're saying, which is like everything that we do in life is not really much of like a deserving thing. Is like we have to go out there and get them. You get me? Like without like working for it, not often do you fall over and find riches or find basically what you're looking for. I mean, you can't really make
Yeah.
something out of it if you're just sitting on your ass on the couch.
Yep. That's exactly right, man. That's exactly right. And I my parents left the life in Mexico to give us a better life, and I'm one of those millions of people that are here with a DACA, with a DACA as a DACA recipient, right? And it's not, that those are hardships that people and people go through life. Like I didn't choose to I didn't choose to be brought over here, but those were the cards that I was dealt, and those are the cards that I've been playing my whole life.
Yeah.
There's and a full transparency. There's people that grow up and they have everything on a silver platter, and there's people that grow up and literally have nothing, which is awesome. Like I would want to provide that for my kids.
Yeah.
All those hardships that I've gone through and will go through, to not have my kids go through that or my family, but one thing that individuals, in general, have to understand that and again, I'm a firm believer on everything happening for a reason. But you're dealt with a with some cards, and you have to play that game. You have to play the game that you're dealt, and it's really nice that you as an individual have the opportunity to stick out like a sore thumb and again be unmatched, have that unmatched work ethic, and just go get what it is that you want to go get.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that, bro, because when I was younger, I would think like, oh man, like that dude, I mean, he has this or he has that because his dad has it, bro. But as I got older, I just kind of looked at it in a more humble way. I'm like, bro, like if I had that type of money, just same thing like you were saying, I wouldn't really necessarily want my kids, like going through like some of the hardships that we gone through. Like, why not like give the people that come after us kind of like a springboard, right? So like they don't have to kind of like start from step one. Maybe they could start from like step two or step three, and work themselves up even higher. And ultimately, our goal would eventually be just to get far and beyond, like to the point that we got into.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. And Platt, you see it day in day out. All the people that come through the warehouse. Some people are there and they need to check to feed their families. Some people are there and just need to check to pay their phone bill, right? And you see that gap. And back to what I was saying, you have that old generation where it's like hard work, hard work, hard work. But really, how 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 fulfilling is your life? Because
Exactly.
at the end of the day, I believe that's really important for you as a human being, and for you to perform like you need to perform, especially if you qualify yourself as an individual that has that unmatched work ethic, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with working hard, but
but it's not penalty though.
but just imagine if you were working in the industry or doing something that you love. Like it wouldn't even be work. I'll share another story or stage of my life.
Yeah.
When I was in the band, I was going to school full time. I was working full time at HEB. I was working with the Spurs, and I was in the band. So let me give you a rundown. So I was doing four things at once. So when people say, "Oh, I don't have time. I don't have this," it's a lot of horse crap. It's really. I mean, do you want it? Yes or no? If yes, what are you gonna do to make it happen? But again, there's a lot of factors for that, right? So I don't want people coming at me and saying, "Well, you're not married, you don't have kids," and that's right. That's right. I'm not married, I don't have kids, but that allowed me to do the things that I did, right? For example, so I'll give you a regular week back then, and this was, I want to say, 6 years ago. Monday, I would work at HEB. Tuesday, I would work at HEB, get off work and go to school, and then band practice at night. Go back home. Get up early in the morning, work at HEB Wednesday, and then get off, and then go to the library or anywhere. Go home, do homework. Thursday, again, work, get off, go to school, and band practice. I had band practice every Tuesday and Thursday, and school every Tuesday and Thursday as well. Fridays, go to work, get off, go to the gig, come back home 2, 3, 4 in the morning, take a shower, go to work. Saturday, get off work, do homework.
Damn.
Go to a gig, come back home. 2, 3, 4 in the morning on Sunday, and I would either work the Sunday night shift if we didn't have a gig on Sunday night, or Sunday morning if we had a gig Sunday night. So if we had a gig, I'd come home early Saturday morning, 2, 3 in the morning, take a shower, go to work, and get off work, and then go to the gig. And then on top of that, whenever I wasn't with the band, I quit the band, and then I got hired or was working for the Spurs. I worked at the Spurs for like 2 months as a usher. I was telling people where to sit down. That was pretty cool. So same schedule, and I would just change the band with working with the Spurs. But there was times where I wouldn't even sleep, and I would get home. I would get home from the concerts. I would get home from the gigs, and I wasn't even tired. And Plamp, I've worked nights at the distribution center, and there was times where I would come home and like, man, I'm gonna go sleep and not wake up till the next day. I would get home from the gigs, and I was wired. I was amped. I was ready to run through walls like the Kool-Aid Man. and it was really having that mentality of man, I can't wait to go play the instrument. I can't wait to be on stage and be doing that, right? I loved it when we went out of San Antonio. We would play in Austin, and we would play in Corpus, we would play in Houston. Man, we wouldn't come home till the next day, of course. And it was, it was just like you're traveling with your buddies. It's not well, I'm gonna go, if there was any other instance, it would be because, I have to travel for work or I have to travel for something else. But man, I was getting paid. I was doing what I love to do, and my brain told my body like this is nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have or feel that way whenever you write music flap, or whenever you freestyle and you're recording all these videos that you have on YouTube, by the way, or Alejandro, whenever you're training, what do you guys think about that?
I wanted to add something. I wanted to add something that I've just been thinking about. I wanted to go back when you guys were saying you guys are firmly believers of this and that. I wanted to say I'm a firmly believer in what you put, that's what you get back. I remember when I started running, I would always go to you, right? Not knowing that you were always busy, right? But you always took the time. But then this is the thing that I really hold to heart, that I appreciate, because it made me think a lot more when I'm at the desk. I learn a lot more. I'm like, okay, I gotta send my emails, I gotta do this. But with that being said, I remember you told me one time, you told me do your own research, and I didn't really understand at first. I'm like, I'm just gonna go to you, right? That was my mentality at first. You cannot fake results, right? You cannot fake results either at the gym, either if you're riding, if you're in the bed. You cannot fake any results, because results don't lie. And I started doing that. I started doing my own thing, started doing my own research, and it felt really good. And that's how I always, whenever I was in counts and I was doing all of that, and I would do my own research, I'm like, man, Augie was right. You were pushing me. You were pushing me for greatness. And for me, that what makes you a great leader. Not just because you had taught me to, you can say, use my brain more, but you taught me to empower other people as well, with knowing it or without knowing it. So again, I appreciate those moments of wisdom that you have given me, golden nuggets for me to share with other people, and I would even share. Like, bro, and with a good friend of mine, to music and all of that with the training. When I'm at the gym or when I'm doing music or whatever, like, I don't feel like it's work. To me, I feel like this is what I was born to do. Now, I love where I work at now, and so, like I said this a couple podcasts ago, I work nights, as you know, and I did it almost for 6 years, same company, and but now I got into the routine where if I don't, the days that I don't work, I sleep. I sleep early those days. Like today, for example, I'll sleep at 5 o'clock in the morning. No, I will sleep at like 10 o'clock at night, and I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Go for a run. Writing a book, like I told you. Right, I'm writing. I type for like an hour, and then I write lyrics for like an hour, and then me and my cousin, we have this book of John C. Maxwell, The Laws of Leadership, that Mike introduced me to the book, and to me, I feel like if I don't want to be. I'm not saying like in my deathbed or whatever, and have like, man, I didn't. Not saying give that extra rep, but like I didn't give. I have a full potential that I didn't reach because not you can say being lazy or being on the couch or which nothing wrong with that. If you want to live your life on the couch watching TV with your family, that's fine. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that. But uh, I heard somebody say that some others were born with more more of a driven factor that they just want to do more. They just want to do more. So with that being said, is I'm grateful for where I'm at in my life, and I'm happy. I'm happy because I wasted a lot of time on nonsense, and now I can see that I'm doing my music still, which I don't really promote a lot more. I'm kind of like that a little bit more low key because I want to work more on my book and give my story in a different perspective, in a different outlet as an author, as a writer, um, and also do other different things and inspire other people. With that being said, I had a lot of people at work tell me, "Hey, I heard the podcast. I heard it. I listened to it. I follow it. You guys talk a lot about leadership, routine, etc. And it's driven me to go to the gym. It's driven me to do this. And then somebody's like, "Oh, I want to write a book." You know, like you inspired me. And to me, at the beginning, I was like, "That's beautiful that I'm inspiring people. That we're inspiring people." But at the end of the day, we cannot forget why we did it, right? We cannot forget why we're training. We cannot forget why we got into what we get into with working at where we're working at or making music or whatever. That's why I feel like that prioritizing is a good thing, which I sucked at, and you know that, Augie. I sucked at prioritizing. And I feel like if you can prioritize, you'll be successful. And I don't mean successful in money, I mean successful in life. Spiritually,
But
mentally, physically.
to try to do what it is that you're trying to do, right? And that's what this podcast is about, man. I don't want to. I don't want the listeners to say, "Well, he's just talking about himself." Blah blah blah. No, well, I really wanted to take, like I said, a different approach because, again, more of an approach of awareness. Because a lot of times, us younger individuals, or as a young individual, I classify myself as an individual. You don't have that guidance, right? You don't have that guidance.
Yeah.
You don't have that guidance, and here we are reading books. Here we are listening to podcasts, and here we are doing whatever it is that we need to get that inspiration, because we need guidance, right? And that's where I'll pivot the conversation to now. Now I have the opportunity. Now I have the opportunity to become a leader, or be in a leadership position in a building with over 800 employees. Right now, now I have to present myself different. Now I have to present myself in terms of where I'm providing solutions, where I'm providing efficiency, where I'm providing guidance for everybody that comes through my door. One of those people being you, Plap. Again, I know what it feels to be rejected. I know what it feels to have people tell you no. I know what it feels to have people, that guy doesn't know what he's doing. So I would never do that to anybody, right? Anybody that has a question that I can answer and that I can provide an insight, I will always do it. And yes, I'm always busy. My job. I love my job, and it challenges me every day. And I'm always I'm always doing something else, right? But that doesn't mean that my door is always closed or my office is off limits. Anybody that comes in the building, anybody that comes in there has a question or that needs help, I'm there because I know what it feels like not to have help. I know what it feels like not to have guidance, and it sucks. It sucks, honestly. And if I could provide that for anybody, any individual, whether it be at work, outside of work, in the street, at the grocery store, that's gonna make me grow as a person, and it's gonna, of course, help me help others, which is ultimately one of the main goals, or should be one of the main functions as a person in society. But of course, we have a lot of bad apples, right? And we have to learn how to weed those out.
Wow, that was beautifully said. I think it's always good to to love others, right? Love others and serve others, right? That's our mission statement. I'm a big believer in the Lord, and I feel like that that we should practice more. Like you said,
Yeah.
helping people in the stores, like being home. I used to be homeless, but I'm not saying that for anything. But I'm just saying because like without struggles, I've learned to appreciate the things that I have now, and it's not about even material things. It just makes me more just appreciative. I understand people now. I understand what they're going through, and if I can be that source of inspiration or just even help to somebody to talk to, it's just a beautiful thing. And I know you do that, Augie, and you're a humble guy, and I learned a lot from you. Not just at work, just the normal conversation that we have.
I understand that, Blab. I understand that, Blab, 100%. You never know what people are going through. And I'm proud to say that that's my leadership style, right? It's more. I want to say, I guess, personal. Instead of drilling you with like, oh, well, you need to do this or you need to do that, right? It's
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're both people. We're both humans. All right, I'm going to teach. I'm going to treat you like one. The only difference is that now I need your help trying to get something done, right? And I'm not gonna do it as a boss, right? For me, it's worked so far. But I've had challenges. And I've had to pivot, right? And now with that person, that approach doesn't help. So now let's go to the next strategy, right? But of course, you always try to respect and treat everybody with respect. Just saying, like I was saying, treat everybody with respect, and I believe everybody deserves that, and that's my leadership style that I've taken, and it's worked for me so far, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna work with it and go with it until it doesn't start to work, right? But I'm pretty sure it's a good strategy for myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna go way, 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 way back before wherever the conversation ended at. You talked about you actually asked both of us a question. You asked us, what does it feel like, or how do we feel as we're doing something that we love? Because that was a question that you originally asked, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
I just want to really go back to that. I had to kind of like keep it in my head to remind myself of the question. Yeah, bro, honestly, like when I do something that I love, like I tell this to everyone just because everybody always says, just like you mentioned, follow your dreams, follow your passion. But sometimes what a lot of people fail to recognize, in my honest opinion, is the fact that even though you really might like doing something, bro, it's going to come with like shitty people, shitty obstacles. There's going to be problems at times. Like everything can't be all sunshine and rainbows. So yeah, bro, like I love doing what I do, and the fact that I'm able to do something in my career where it's basically my passion, Like it's such a wonderful feeling. But at the same time, bro, like if I'm completely honest with you, there's days that yeah, bro, like somebody might enter those doors and I might not necessarily get along with them, or there might be people that are gonna come in and, with all due respect, they're gonna come into the gym or wherever it is that I'm working at, what facility, and they're gonna waste my time, bro. Or sometimes, people might not get it, and I have to have the patience to, just stick through with it and be able to teach them things correctly without losing my head and maybe just being like, oh fuck it, you get me? So yeah, bro, like honestly, for the most part, I feel really good. I feel really good doing, working in the field of my passion. But there's days where it's tough, man. It's tough because there's problems like those. And what a lot of people also fail to recognize, and a lot of people think like you're just gonna go in and earn the big bucks. Nah, man. Like you start from the bottom too, and sometimes the hours may be shitty, the pay may be shitty. Like sometimes they would actually charge you for using their facility or equipment or gym. So yeah, even though like following your passions is cool, bro, but a lot of people have to understand like what kind of shit are you also willing to like take as you're following or working in the field of that you love, or the things that you love doing.
Yeah, no, I agree 120% with you, man. I agree. But just like you said, most of the time, or if all the time, you're doing what you love doing.
Yeah.
Would you rather have 10 badass days and then one shitty day, or would you rather have 10 shitty days and one badass day?
Yeah.
Right. That's the perspective that I'm hoping our listeners try to put into their head. But yeah, it's not all rainbows. It's not rainbows and unicorns. Not at all. And of course, it's gonna take work. It's gonna take dedication. It's gonna take commitment. It's gonna take patience. Right? It's not just because you're doing something that you love. It doesn't necessarily mean that automatically you're gonna be successful.
Yeah.
But with that being said, all the hardships that come with it, they're gonna taste a little different, because at the end of the day, you know that your end goal is there, right? So might be opening your own gym, or recording your first album, or or being a events manager, or being a pilot, or opening your own restaurant, being a chef. I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
You name it. Nowadays, there's all these um, uh, uh, what do you call it?
Entrepreneurs, dreamers.
Yeah. I mean, the sky's the limit. People nowadays make millions of dollars just making videos on YouTube.
Yeah, playing video games.
30 years ago, you wouldn't even thought of that.
Yeah.
But now it's like, this new generation it's really, I believe, really, really going after what they want. And I see that because Pedro, if you agree or not, I don't know if you agree or don't agree with me, but after COVID, people started figuring it out. Like it was a pause that it made people figure out what they really wanted to do, and really go after that. Because now, I mean, everybody's hiring, everybody's struggling to get workers. All those difficult jobs, not everybody's going to want to do them. Companies had to raise their wages. One due to inflation, and two due to retention. Because guess what? They're paying Jimmy $18 an hour to flip burgers at Burger King or Wendy's, and they're paying someone else at a distribution center almost the same to pick cases 10 or 12 hours a day. I mean, which job are you going to choose, right? But then again, it goes back to not taking the easy way out. Really, really working, going after what you stand for. I'm not going to take the easy way out. I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to challenge those around me, and hope to continue to grow, not only as a person, but as a leader. Some of your podcasts that you guys have already recorded, have a theme. You know, everybody talks about being humble and working hard and not really like myself, respecting others. What I'm trying to say is, respecting others. But it's a trend. You know, it's not something that we haven't heard before.
Yeah.
It's just are we applying it, and if we're applying it, are we being diligent with it and consistent with it?
Wow.
But yeah, it's not going to be easy to do what you love. It's not going to be easy to open your own business. But imagine if a lot of people did take those risks and actually do what they do for other companies. Imagine what they would do for their own company, or
Yeah.
and that's just perspective that I'm trying to make people aware of.
Yeah, and you said something really important, which is a lot of people they're talking about, or the themes keep recurring in all of our podcasts. And I
Yep.
was just telling my friend this. It's funny how, like, as a kid, you think like all the advice that these older folks tell you is like very cliche and bullshit, and you're just kind of like, like, what does this old guy know, or what does this person know? And it's funny, as you get older, you still kind of like hear those themes and hear those core values, and it's exactly what you just said. Like, it's easy to hear it and be able to, I guess you could keep it in your mind, but to apply it, it's like a whole different thing. It's like, you get me?
Yep.
It's like, if you want to be successful, yeah, we know that it's hard work, dedication, sacrifice, being smart, diligent, but like to apply it, it's a whole different thing.
Yep. And that's
I,
honestly part of what it takes. Go ahead, Black.
I just wanted to say, apply it, but also have integrity with it.
Oh yeah.
Because integrity goes a long way. With that being said, it's like I remember I was talking to Mike, and he was like, "Oh, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this," and he was like, "I trust you," and not being on production, he knows I'm gonna get the job done, right? Trust and integrity. But with that being said, it's like there's times there was a song that I did. It was called No Pain. I don't know if you heard it, Augie, but that song has like almost 40,000 views. And I wrote that song when I wrote that song out of pen, and I was picking cases, and I was like, and I was while I was picking cases, I was writing lyrics on my arm. I was writing lyrics on my arm, on stickers, on the back of the book of the sheets, and then I'll go on break and and I'll try to put everything like a puzzle together, and then I go back and pick more cases, and then I do the same thing. And yes, it's about not just being hungry, not just being humbled, but being dedicated. Because you have to be dedicated. You have to be dedicated. You have to have integrity with it. And what I mean about integrity, yes, with respect and everything, and as always, like, okay, if I say I'm gonna do it, then I'm gonna do it. Let your yes, let be yes, and your no's be no's. And I don't mean to others. I mean to yourself, right? Like if you say, hey, I'm gonna train this person, be committed to do it, right? Or hey, tomorrow I'm gonna start writing, be committed to write tomorrow, right? You got it's self care, right? To have integrity within yourself, respect for yourself as well, right? And I feel like that would play a bigger factor if you know your purpose in life. I feel like if you know your purpose in life, but I know goals change as you get older. I know when I was younger, I was like, I want to be famous, I want to be rich, I want to have a lot of houses, I want to do this, But now it's like, I want peace. I want to do music. I don't want to be famous. I just want to have my purpose. I want to help others, and I just want to live at peace, right? So my goals changed. I guess I would say my goals didn't change, but my morals changed. And
You grew up, Black.
You got an old clap.
part of growing
You
up,
grew up. You grew up.
being wiser. Yeah, yes, sir.
No, but that's what it's about, man. I mean, imagine if the people that you surround yourself and everybody that you work with would have a very similar um, mentality and a very similar way of caring about themselves. It would be a game changer, but unfortunately, it's not that way. It's not that way, and a lot of people have their views. A lot of people a lot of people do things just for their gain. A lot of people have different mentalities, and as a leader, you try to, I don't want to say accommodate, but learn to work with those types of individuals and those types of characteristics, those types of different personalities, because now they're seeing you as your leader, right? And you as a leader, you have to carry yourself in a different manner. You have to be fair. You have to be um, fair. Is probably the number one whenever you're a boss. But you know, there's different there's different aspects of your leadership. Whenever, you know, for example, whenever you're at home, whenever you're at work, whenever you're with your friends, whenever you're by yourself. But that's what speaks about yourself, you know, and however people know you, that's hopefully that's how you really are behind closed doors, and out in the open. Um, and and when you spend a lot of time with an individual, you know, for example, like us, your boss, your coworkers, you really get to know how they really are and who they really are.
Yeah, and that goes back to one of the important things that you were saying at the beginning, Augie. It's crazy how, like, at 17, 18 years old, they expect us to figure out what the hell we want to do for the rest of our lives. And it goes back to the connection that Pedro did. Like, when he was younger, he wanted to do a certain thing. And as he got older, it's like, you know, the thought process changed. Like, if we're being honest, if we're looking at it from a psychological, biological perspective, it's like the brain doesn't even really start, like, really, like, you know, getting mature until you're about the age of like 25, I believe. And it's like, how do we expect, like, a society, you get me, like, most of these guys are teens, right? Like a 17, 18 year old, how do we expect them to, like, oh yeah, like, you have to, like, by force come up with something you want to do for the rest of your life? When it's like, as I get older and older, you know, my interest and the way that I look at things might, you know, they might change.
Yeah, and that's a fair point, and that's a fair point. And just like Lab said, you know, maybe your dreams change into goals or vice versa, right? But yes, you're right, and I believe that most of that is attributed to experience. Um, age, I believe age doesn't mean anything. Experience means all. Um, I can sit here and tell you that I know what other 14 million DACA recipients are going through because I went through it.
Yeah.
But someone that's not, someone that hasn't or doesn't even know what that is, may not be able to relate, right? Clap, you know, not to put you on blast, but someone that has been homeless and hasn't been homeless. I mean, there's no comparing, right? It's just about that experience. Like, I know how that feels, and I know how it feels, and I've gone through it. You haven't, and maybe you will, maybe you won't. But those are the events in your life that change that flip that make you understand how you need to carry yourself in life in order to reach your goals, or you know, if you're still trying to reach your dream, which there's nothing wrong. I just, again, trying to make people aware, advise people, especially the young generation, to not waste their time, not waste their money, to invest their money to really find out what they're really good at, find out what they really like, and get into those fields, get into those markets, get into, um, you know, if you want to be a pilot right out of high school, apply to be a flight attendant. Learn the business in and out. If you want to open your own restaurant, you know, start working at one. Learn the business in and out. You know, don't try to go, don't try to take the long route and then you go to your job hating it because it sucks. And then you're just working there because it pays the bills. We're gonna be paying bills till we die, so
Yeah.
might as well, you know, we're going to be working till we die, unless we win the lottery or are really smart with our money. But that's what it's about, leadership, how you live your life, the people that you are around, helping others, serving others. Our DG motto, and that's what it really is about, man. And I will tell you that I love my job. I love my job. I love what I do, and yes, I still in the back of my head, I close my eyes and I view myself playing an instrument in front of thousands of people, right? I don't want to be famous. I don't want to have that. I just want to be on a stage and play for thousands of people. But I love my job. I love what I do. Um, Serving others is Dollar General's its motto, and I'm proud to say that I work at Dollar General. I used to get made fun of whenever I told people that I started working at Dollar General. Um, I'm proud to say that whenever people go to the stores and grab something out of the shelf, that I was part, that Plapp and I took part in that, making me happy. It's awesome. It's really awesome.
Like I feel like that moment is like a very proud moment because I remember I went to the store one time and I had my jersey and they were like, oh, and then I told them I made a compliment for the company. They're like, oh, that's cool, and then they heard it and I did, and it's a proud moment knowing that we work for a really great company that really cares for people. I'm very grateful to be where I'm at. I learned a lot, and for the opportunities that it's given, and for we actually are about that mission about serving others. Um, so I love I agree with you, and that level as well. I was gonna say something, but I had something in mind, but it's just like you know. Uh, but yeah, no. I'm gonna say thank you. Thank you.
That's what it's about, Black. Again, you guys, it's good what you guys are doing. Whatever your motives are, I'm sure they're positive. I'm sure they're good. Continue what you guys are doing, and if you don't mind me asking you, Alex,
Uh
how
huh.
old are you, bro?
I'm 26, bro.
You're 26.
Yeah.
Platt, how old are you, Platt?
I'm 30.
30, yes, sir.
Dirty 30.
Wow, it's crazy saying that, but it's good.
I'll include myself. We have a lot ahead. We have a lot ahead. We have a lot of life ahead of us.
Yeah.
God willing, and try not to try not to waste it.
Yeah. So I think we're probably gonna start wrapping up the show, bro. I'm sorry, I just have a few things that I need to take care of right now. But yeah, man, it was an honor to have you on and listening to your story. And I like the way that you kind of like approached the podcast. It was very different, honestly. Like it was different. Like this one's memorable, bro, just because it's like you started it in a different way and you took it sort of like in the direction that you wanted to. And I ultimately am grateful for that just because of the fact that I feel like for the most part I had to narrate most of the podcast. So I kind of had to take the podcast kind of like through a bunch of stages, right? Kind of like a metamorphosis, right? So the podcast in itself runs smoothly. But honestly, I really appreciate the fact that you kind of like took the initiative and just made it run pretty smoothly. So thank you for that.
I appreciate them. And I will tell you something about you guys' podcast. Some of the best podcasts that I've listened to are when they let the the guest, I guess you would say, just talk,
Yeah.
without interrupting them. And I was like, man, these guys, they're doing it right. I believe you guys are doing it right. There's podcasts where they don't even let the person answer the question, right?
We
And,
had to learn that skill, believe it or not.
and to me, that's annoying. Because like, I wanted to hear about that. Like, I wanted to hear about that. And of course, there's several factors, time constraints and depending on the people and all that, like, all that stuff. But no, I thank you guys again for the opportunity. I've never done anything like this. I hope people out there, the people that are listening to your guys' material, really, really take this, digest it, and learn something from it. Right. Everything that's being said in these podcasts is not just out of anybody's rear end. It's because they've gone through it, they've lived it, and they're giving advice. They're giving people pretty much like a heads up, you know. And if it's not a heads up, it's, you know, continue going. Nothing's owed to you, and get after it.
Anything you want to say, Pedro?
I just wanted to say thank you again, Augie. It's always a pleasure. Uh, uh, this thing where we ask the guest what one that you would want the listeners to, or what is one thing that you would want to give the listeners? Anything that you wanted to say?
A piece of advice, basically.
Right.
A piece of it.
No, you're good. Yes. To anybody that's listening out there, nothing is owed to you. Get off your butt and go get what you want.
I like that one.
And I approve this message.
This is Augie, and I approve this message.
No, man, thank you again, bro. Honestly, it's really good hearing some of the compliments as well, because believe it or not, bro, I think that Pedro could attest to it. The first few podcasts actually the first podcast that we had a guest on, Mr. Pedro was constantly interrupting, so there was some things that we also fixed. Like, we're constantly trying to improve ourselves. Like, honestly, like, the podcast is not just the name. It's like every day we strive to get better, and there's always a little bit of a recap between us of like, hey, you know, maybe we could have done this or that. So ultimately, man, thanks a lot. It means a lot.
No, man, anytime, man. Anytime, man. And if you guys ever want to do the second part or point 2, let me know.
Yeah, man, for sure. I think next time, hopefully, we'll have more time, bro. Just that right now, I'm kind of running on some time constraints. So sorry about that, man. That's on me. That's on me.
All good. It's all good, man. It's all good.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good one.
All right,
bye. Later, Plat.
Later. Let's go.